Are you guys enjoying your Asian American and Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander and Dezi American month? That's all of them. That's all of them. That's what this month is. So just to add it to your calendar, I know you keep up with all these things because you're just completely obsessed with race and you see race in every facet of every day and every calendar and every week and there's got to be a race attached. No, there doesn't. When's mine? When's my month? Oh, not one for me? Well, what started as just 1 week in May has evolved over the decades into now a month-long tribute. There's going to be events in cities big and small. You can see the FC Dallas is having their Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month celebration this weekend at one of their home games. But it just seems everyone but me has a day or a week or a month or something. Because you know about Black History Month, you know about Hispanic Heritage Month. There's, Women's Month, or there's International Women's Day. There's Pride Month coming up. Next month is all June. You're going to see rainbow flags everywhere. If you were trying to exclude me, what would you do? Given the setting that I just gave you, what would you do? Because you have blacks covered, and blacks, that means blacks here. Be blacks in Africa. It could be blacks south of the border. They're covered. Black History Month. Hispanics, they're all covered, and that's a very vague term. That means basically anybody that speaks Spanish at home and all of the Western Hemisphere, south of America, and wherever they're found over the world. There's Women's Month, but racially speaking, what does this do? You have the blacks and you have the Hispanics accounted for. If you were in America and you wanted to celebrate everybody but white men, what would you have to do? You would have to come up with what? One catch-all that has all of Asia, all Asians, whether it's Dezi, whether it's what we used to call Oriental, which I hear that's like a bad term now, but I don't remember that ever being used as an ethnic slur, whatever. But you know what? We don't have another word for it. I'm sorry. The Dezi, do you even know what Dezi means? I know what Dezi means because my friend married a Dezi. You know what that means, Sean? Dezi is that race of people that we regard as Indian. And it's kind of a catch-all because within India, there's like the Sikhs and there's like the Hindus and Muslims and Christians. And they all kind of look similar enough in their phenotypes and facial structure and body build and, without getting into Jimmy the Greek territory. It also includes that race of people that happen to bleed over into Pakistan and Bangladesh. That's all the same race of people. That's what Dezi is. So they actually, if you go to WFAA.com, our news partner over here, and look through it, I think they got this from the AP, but they were explaining how they've recently added Dezi to it. So there is, check this out. This is if you take out blacks and Hispanics, this is every other race except for white people. Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, and Dezi. They're doing this on purpose. That's what this is. Look, my kids do this to each other. I have 4 kids. And if one kid has a beef with another kid, they'll do something to leave them out just to spite them. But if it's sort of a negative spite, it's harder to get in trouble for it. It's harder to get criticism for it. So if they share their candy, if they get a pack of M&Ms, but kid number 1 is mad at kid number 2, well, kid number 1 will share his M&Ms with kid number 3 and share his M&Ms with kid number 4 and share it with mom and share it with dad, even give some to the dog, but won't give any to kid number 2. And we all see what that is. It's an obvious slight. And how you say, what? You're not going to share with them? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I didn't give them one. No, you did that on purpose. I know what you're doing, and you did that specifically to agitate them. Now, of course, listen, I say this is me. There's not a month for me, or there's not a week or day for me, but this isn't about me. This only applies to me because I happen to share the same evil demographic as those evil bastard founding fathers. Probably you or your dad or your husband or some of your friends or whatever. But remember, white men, straight white men, me, especially Christian, even worse. We are the worst people in the world in the woke universe. There is no greater villain in the, you know how there's like the Marvel universe or the DC universe. In the woke universe, we are the villains. And you can see it in their fantasies that, like, how many movies come out where Nazis are the bad guys in the last 20 years? Almost every week I do the movie reviews with Debbie Schlussel. There's one of the 3 or 4 movies has Nazis as the bad guy. Or it's one of those straight up white people are evil movies, whether it's like a Django Unchained or the Green Book, or, I mean, going all the way back to Driving Miss Daisy and Roots. But white men are the worst people in the world. Notice how many movies have frat boys as the bad guys. And in the real world, who was the hero in all these Palestinian protests when they would try and rip down an American flag and set fire to it and raise a Palestinian flag there, or Hamas flag or whatever? It was frat boys that were showing up and saving the flag. It was when they were out there saying horrible things to Jewish students at LSU. It was a bunch of, I don't even know if they're all in frats. They're just called frat boys because it's a nice pejorative to where you can diminish people who look like me, or, you know, just me but younger. They were out there chanting USA, shouting, overshouting the hate, the anti-Semitic hate that was coming from the protesters at LSU. And it wasn't just those 2 colleges in North Carolina, Chapel Hill. It happened at a bunch of colleges. They're not going to get the praise that they deserved. But in the real world, frat boys are not the bad guys. But in the movies, always the bad guy. It's one of the few people you can make fun of without getting any criticism. And I mean, why should white people have their own month? Oh, I don't know. Maybe we could honor the achievements of some of the white people, like the founding fathers or great inventors, like all the way from Ben Franklin and Eli Whitney to Thomas Edison and Henry Ford, and even these days to Elon Musk. No month for us. We know what you're doing. We know we're not going to get spiteful. We're not going to get upset and throw a brick through a window. We're not going to block a highway. But really, we know what you're doing. It's the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.